Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. Get that audio set back on the appropriate. Wonderful. It is Thursday, April the 13th, 2023. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Glad you could join us here today. On the YouTubes, we are Team Red. We're back. We talked about just what we were going to do with the show, with the restructuring, and it just made sense to bring it here to YouTube, keep it within the channel, but also because YouTube has moved forward with making podcasts its own category now, and so it makes our life even easier. It means I don't have to be transferring video from one computer to another and uploading a video and everything else. It's just there. It's already there. Mark can grab the video, he can make shorts and everything, and now it's beautiful. The workflow is magnificent. I also scrambled to put together some new overlays and everything else today, so hopefully you like those too, and if not, go fuck yourself. They're staying. They're staying. Got another great show lined up for you today, as always, of course. Although I'm recognizing right now that I do need to go over here and actually bring up my list so that I also have my list. There we go. Yeah, another great show lined up for you today, and glad you could join us, whether it's here on YouTube Live, YouTube Post Live, or on the RSS feeds. Also, obviously, glad you guys are continuing to enjoy our StarCraft content. Lots of positive response to that. Loving seeing all of the positive response. Hopefully it stays that way. It's YouTube. You never know. People wake up one day and choose violence, Mr. Black. You just don't know when it's going to happen. But for now, they're choosing love.
Love.
All the love. Also, congrats on the new overlay. We are now about the same size.
Okay. I do miss my widescreen. I do miss my widescreen.
We still see. All we don't see is like your entire mic arm. You're probably looking at us right now on some other monitor, I imagine.
I do. I see it.
Yeah. But this was easy. Why I did it this way to explain it. Not that it matters to anyone watching at home per se, but when Mark is doing shorts, this is all now within a 1080 width, and so it makes his cropping and clipping and editing even easier. And really, I didn't know. I mean, you have stuff to look at. Back behind me, if I widen my screen out, there ain't nothing back there.
I didn't work this damn hard to get all this shit for it not to be seen.
Just turn John Cena a little bit more, front too, and we can look at John Cena. But yeah, great show. And before we get started, as always, the most important question of the week, Mr. Black, how was your week?
It's been another week. That's it. It's just been another week.
Fantastic. Great. I'm sorry, I'm half asleep. I was just saying to Jeff that I'm like, my brain is not firing on all cylinders today. So if there's random pauses of just dead silence, that's my brain taking micro naps. But I'm still here, technically. Unless I collapse, then I'm maybe be concerned. But otherwise, been a heck of a week. What was it? Very rare. I felt like I was 24 years old all over again, except without all the muscle and the ability to stand. I streamed for 12 hours one day and 15 or 16 hours the next.
Damn.
Back to back.
What's going on, Adam? 4
hours of sleep in between those two streams. Then I slept for another 4 hours. Got up. I left the house at 6:30 yesterday. I got home at 10 at night. I drove 7 hours. In total, we went to the family home, Dad and I. We rented a Home Depot van, which is always sketchy. In fact, the type of sketchy it was, we got the van back because we had to put a replacement dining room table in the back of this bad boy because we were taking the one that's down there for our dining room table. And when we opened up the truck, Dad looked up and, these 12-footers, they're lined with plywood, thin plywood. Plywood fucking falling off the roof of this bitch. separated completely. So it's just like, and you looked inside, it looked like a war zone. So we had to Dad had to go in the workshop to find some screws just to be able to put the goddamn truck back together. But we eventually got it all sorted out, ignoring the fact that the driver's window didn't want to go back up for a bit. It was electronic only, and it didn't want to go up. So Dad had to physically pull the window back up into position. It was one of those days. But we got there, and then we were there for, oh God, 4 hours or some shit, taking stuff out of the house, packing it all into the truck and my RAV, taking a bunch of stuff out because the home is going on the market later this year, and then another fucking 3 hours back, and then we unloaded it all, and by the time it was all said and done, it was just about 11 o'clock. I lay down in bed. I still don't know where I am right now. I woke up, I went to go get Em this morning because she had another night shift, so I woke up this morning to go get Em. I brought her home, and then I went right to work. I got back to the house. Jeff was like, podcast, YouTube, make it happen. Okay, on it. Made all these overlays, wrote the podcast, had to extend it about 15 extra minutes, but we're here. We made it happen, and that's been my week.
We're here.
That's been my week, and now it's time for some video game news, Mr. Black. Xbox's second biggest release of 2023, second behind, of course, Starfield, being by far the largest release. Redfall, that's that, if you don't know what Redfall is at home or otherwise, Redfall is that it's kind of like Left 4 Dead live service mini MMO. So not full-blown MMO, live service, Left 4 Dead. If you put those three things in a room and then added fucking, like, some shitty vampires, Redfall. So instead of zombies, vampires. And so anyway, this game has been delayed a half bajillion times now. It came under fire for a couple of times already for different reasons. Chiefly, I think the most recent was the one where they were like, this is going to be always online. There is no offline playability for this game. And people were like, fuck! Because nobody likes always online. Even for service games, nobody technically likes always online. And even if you have the internet never fucking off, most people still hate the fact that it's always online. Because it tends to come with... It's not the fact that you need internet to play it. It's just that those games just tend to fucking break more for some reason. So people weren't happy about that. But this time they're not happy about the fact that they announced that the game is only going to launch with a quality mode. And quality mode in today's lingo for consoles means 30 FPS. It means they turn all the graphics up, but they target 30 FPS instead of 60. And then normally you're getting a performance mode in some games. Some, not all, but some games do a performance mode where they drop the resolution, drop the graphics to give you 60. So people have a choice on consoles for the first time pretty much ever in this generation, where they can sit back closer to a PC and be like, okay, do I want this? Do I care if this game looks fucking incredible, like fully maxed out to the tits, but it's going to be 30 FPS, or would I rather dial it back for the 60? And most people that I've ever seen polled, thousands, I've seen tens and thousands of people polled on this on social media multiple times since this kind of thing became a reality. Almost every time, people say they prefer performance over quality. They want the 60 FPS. They don't care if it's 1080p, 900p, 9p. Just the 60 FPS seems to be, regardless of game type, the preferred for the most people. And so them announcing this is kind of unfortunate for them, but it's more unfortunate, Mr. Black, because all of the gameplay, all of the advertising, all of the everything they've done for this game publicly has been in how many FPS? It's not 30.
60.
It's in 60. And so people are going, are you fucking me right now? We have looked at this game, which was already looking kind of mid. And some of us are still excited. And it's been all 60 FPS. And now you want to tell me that not only is this shit looking mid, got delayed 400 times, but I'm going to be playing it at 30 FPS? And this is supposed to be the second biggest launch of the year for Xbox? Bro, you can't do that shit. So a lot of people were a little bit perturbed by that, and I don't blame them, because the game has, in fact, been shown at nothing but 60 FPS this whole time. So now people are speculating, Mr. Black, and I'll ask you if you think this is going to be the case or not. They're speculating, they're saying, I wonder now if that means Starfield is also going to only launch with a 30 FPS mode, and maybe in the future, maybe like Redfall, maybe a 60 FPS mode coming up later. Because we do know Starfield very graphically intensive, and it's Bethesda. Which of those two things, the Bethesda part, the way bigger variable than the graphically intensive part. So, Mr. Black, what do you think? Do you think that Starfield will suffer a similar fate, or do you think, against all odds, Starfield will actually live up for the performance 60 FPS so that people can play at better than potato quality? Or does it matter?
I think it does matter. Well, I'm going to go and say it's going to be 60 FPS.
Like base or the option?
The option.
Okay.
For 60 FPS. I think there will be a 30 FPS mode, and it might even be standard. But if you have a powerful PC, then you can play in 60 FPS.
Do you think the consoles will have a performance quality? Yeah,
I think it probably will. I think it's a console will probably you'll be downgrading on certain things, but upgrading on other things. It'll be like what is it that you really want to? How do you want to experience the game? Would you prefer quality or performance? What is it going to be? I think on PC though, you're going to be able to just crank it to the tits.
Oh, PC will have all the options for sure. That's never a problem for PC. Just console side, would they get the option now? It's not like on consoles yet. You get to go in and be like, I want fucking anti-aliasing on or off or like whatever. Like they don't have those options. It's usually just 30 FPS target or 60 FPS target. I agree. I would be not only shocked, I'd be very disappointed if they didn't have it. This is Bethesda's an absolutely gigantic studio. Microsoft is putting everything into this game, making their console actually worth turning on for the first time in fucking ages. Because there have been a couple of games sprinkled in that have even been launches on Game Pass in the last while that were like little smaller like indie tastes. But you can't just sell a console on a Game Pass and indie developer fucking dream. You have to be able to have some big bombastic AAA. We don't need the quadruple A. We don't believe that exists. We stick to the AAA, but the quadruple A maybe in the future if we actually manage to put a studio together capable. But for now, that needs to have 60 FPS as an option. It doesn't need to be, and I don't believe it would ever be standard 60 FPS, but definitely an option. And I don't even know, knowing Bethesda's history and their general quality level, I would be shocked if whatever 4K that we're going to get on it for 30 FPS is even remotely close to real 4K. It's going to be checkerboarded to fuck. It'll be like 2,800 pixels or whatever, and then they're going to checkerboard that up to 4K. It won't be anywhere near actual 4K. I think really part of this equation now, and it is becoming a bit of an elephant in the room, is that the Series S, as amazing as it is, Microsoft's intentionally forcing developers to develop a version of any and all games for the S. If it's on the X, you can't do one or the other. You have to do both. I think that that's becoming a problem. Because we're getting too many of these games where the performance is just not it, but on the PS5, you got one SKU. You're making it only for the full tits PS5. Xbox side, it's the Xbox Series X, that's the full tits. But you'll also have to make a version that works on the Series S. And I think that's slowly starting to become a problem, and Redfall is maybe part of that equation, especially since this is now technically first party, because it's an exclusive situation. Oh my god! I didn't even know we had these enabled, Mr. Black.
We got them enabled. Your boy enabled them.
Oh, you enabled them!
Hey, come on, man.
I forgot. I didn't know because we're still with our MCN. I didn't even know we were allowed to do that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the future is now.
We could also enable a sub button here, but I didn't do that.
Okay. Well, let's just take it a step at a time, but we will shout them out. Patty, thank you for that $20 super chart. Chart? Yeah, it's a super chart.
It's a super
I
chart.
don't know what that means, but it's worth $20. So thank you, Patty. God bless. But yeah, I don't know, but it will be very interesting to see, and we'll find out soon enough, because as we mentioned before, we are getting the Starfield event in June. It's going to be tacked on to the rest of the Xbox Totally Not E3 week thing that they're doing. We did find out the runtime. I can't remember if it's 2.5 or 3 hours long. It's quite an event. Not Starfield specifically, but what that means is most people are assuming Starfield will have roughly a half an hour of total time dedicated just to it. And so I would assume that this very question will likely be answered in that event, and hopefully it is. Because I'm really hoping, given this is supposed to come out later this year, that this isn't just like another weird developer video where we get almost no gameplay and all they do is just suck their own penis on video for 30 straight minutes. Like, oh, this game is so good and I can't believe the hard work our team put in and it's just been so amazing and what a collaborative effort. And Todd, oh, have you seen Todd's bomber jacket? It's so fucking hot. Like, as long as it's not 30 minutes of that shit, I'll be happy, because we've seen like nothing about this fucking game and this shit comes out this year. So it better be a lot better than usual. In conjunction to this, I had another thing listed here, I believe. Where is this? I was just mentioning, so in general, with all that we just said as well, Xbox seems to be in a bit of a fucking rough spot. I think we could both agree that Xbox isn't exactly hitting a home run right now. If this was like the analogy, the continued baseball analogy, this is like sending out your pitcher to try and wrap the fucking game up. 9 times out of 10, that pitcher is not going to be the one to save the day. What's the average RBI on a fucking pitcher? Like -3?
Not good. Not good.
It's not good. So that's kind of what's happening with Xbox right now, is that they have all the pieces. They're all there. You got the Game Pass. You got the powerful console that's not just dedicated to NFL television. That's a big step in and of itself. You're not forced to buy a fucking weird camera that you can interact with an AI child. And thank God Milo was back then and not with ChatGPT-4. This world would have been fucked. It's none of that. It's actually good. The Series S, despite the fact it might be holding certain games back because of Microsoft's policies of forcing them to be on both, is also a really fucking good console for the price. Like, shockingly good. They have an unbelievable wealth of intellectual property, 90% of which they do not touch and haven't fucking touched in forever. They buy shit up and everyone's like, oh, thank God, finally. Oh, we're going to get some games again from insert studio name here. Nope. No, you're not. But they're going to keep buying shit just like they're buying fucking Activision Blizzard. So all the pieces are there, but they seem to not be able to actually effectively use any of them. Case in point, in this last period of reporting, Sony's console sales were up almost 300%. 300%. Nintendo and Microsoft were both in the negatives significantly. So not just Microsoft, but Microsoft and Nintendo. While Sony, 300% up. Microsoft is getting outsold close to, if not more than 2-1 in their best regions by Sony. So the best case scenario for Microsoft right now is they're getting shot down 2-1. They have to do something. And they're not doing anything. And I think all the goodwill that they built up early, and Phil Spencer, everyone fucking like publicly clapping like a seal for Phil Spencer. Yes! Yes, Phil! Oh, God, yeah, Phil! I think that's starting to run out, Mr. Black. What do you think?
I mean, we'll find out towards the end of the year.
Do you think this is like the year, and if it doesn't work now, do you think it just doesn't work for the rest of the generation?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I guess it really depends on what they're going to do with the Activision Blizzard buyout. Call of Duty could really make a big change. We just don't know what's going to happen with that. But I wouldn't say... You know, it's basically like, what kind of analogy can I make here?
As long as it involves a penis.
It's definitely going to involve a penis.
All right, great.
Or a pussy or something. Okay, so, all right. You've gone on vacation. All right, you're heading down to Mexico.
Perfect.
Okay, to drink some Coronas. And
avoid the cartel.
You managed to avoid the cartel. Spring break. And everyone there is hammered, high on drugs, drunk, you name it. There's one girl. There's one girl that you see.
Oh, I thought you meant on the entire resort. There's just one. Just
Oh
one.
no, that would have been a
just
bad
one
time.
guy.
No, there's one girl that you see.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, she's not drunk or high or half naked or naked altogether. She's just chilling. Her friends are over having a good time. She's almost like the designated friend. And you go up to her and you're saying, "Hey, what's your name?" She says, "My name is Anne." "Oh, nice to meet you, Anne." She lets you know that she's here with the girls and she's not really into partying and she's smart and she's into the things that you're into, like video games and eating sushi. And she loves going to the movies and she likes staying in on the weekends and just eating a bit of junk food and sitting in bed.
Lots of saving money there.
All kinds of saving money. You know, she's smart. She's intelligent. She's good looking. She's got all of the things. And guess what? She's interested in you. So you're going, oh, okay, this is fantastic. So you chum it up. And it's the second day of your vacation. You still have 5 days left. And over these 5 days, you both just hit it off. You just fucking hit it off. But there's one problem. She's not from where you're from. There's some distance. You know, you're from Nova Scotia and she's from Vancouver. It's just a long way. It's East Coast and West Coast, the furthest that you can go. And you're not
flying
really
within Canada is more expensive than flying internationally, so that's worse.
It ain't cheap. It just ain't cheap. But you know what? Both of y'all don't even want to think about that right now. You just want to enjoy your time together because it's exciting. It's amazing. And I hate to use it, love at first sight, but this could be it. You've been single for a long time. You had maybe one long-term relationship. It's gone fucking sour. It's made you feel jaded, but you found one. And you weren't even looking for one, but you found it. And then the last day comes. You got to say your goodbyes. So what does she do? She gives you her name. Well, you already have that, but she gives you your number. She adds you on Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook.
I guess the gram. It's really not
like
Facebook anymore.
2009.
She gets the gram. She has a WhatsApp. Everything is great. Oh, and by the way, you didn't even smash on this. You didn't smash. You just enjoyed each other's company. And the reason why you didn't smash is because she said that she didn't want to do it there. She wanted to enjoy the moment. And then this will give us a reason to get back together sooner than later. Okay. Well, how does this all come in through with Xbox here?
I'm waiting for that.
You're waiting?
I believe in you.
So, you get home. Instantaneously, you just want to be with her. But work happens. Life happens. And she's texting you, "Hey, when are the games coming? When are the games coming out?" She's not actually saying that, but she's Xbox. Okay?
I get you. I'm following.
Okay. She's Xbox. When are the games coming? As in, when can I see you? We need to see each other. I need to see you. And you're thinking, well, I ain't got that much money on me. I gotta make ends meet. Rent's due here soon. I put fucking Mexico on my MasterCard. Now the interest is racking up. I don't want her to know I'm a fuckboy. I'm just too I'm too scared to tell her the truth about my situation. And so you don't. You start ignoring her texts. She stops posting the pictures from that amazing trip in Mexico on the gram.
Ooh.
She was WhatsApping you.
Leaving you on red.
Sending you a little bit of those right there on WhatsApp. They stopped. Shit's going downhill. It's going downhill real quick. Now, what do you have to do? Well, you have to man up. You have to make the money. You have to produce the games. If you don't, you're going to lose her. If you don't, you're going to lose this console race. If you don't, all that goodwill that you did for those 5 days in paradise, gone for nothing, forgotten. You were in Mexico. You had the Game Pass. Sony couldn't even produce their goddamn consoles. It was open for you to take it. It was there for you. And the best you can do is 30 frames per second? The best that you can do after she texts you is wait 4 hours to reply, I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm working. Bitches are only going to handle that for so long. They need attention. They need reassurance. They need an alpha. They need somebody. They need somebody that's going to make it happen, Adam. And you know what Xbox is doing right now? They're dropping the ball. That perfect relationship that coulda, woulda, shoulda, it's on the fringes, which means get your shit together. You have one more shot at this year. She's only waiting until the holiday season. If you don't show up via a surprise at her door come December 23rd, it's over. She's already earmarked you dead by the new year. She's told her friends, if he don't show up, if he don't make me feel the way that I need to be felt, physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's over. It's done. And that's where Xbox is right now. They had the girl. And she's still there. But she's further away. And the time is ticking. Xbox, do something. Man up. Produce the games in 60 FPS, for God's sake. It's 2023. Please. All right?
All I can see right now in my mind is Phil Spencer standing outside of some random Xbox fan's window early in the morning, and he's got a boombox. He turns the boombox on, throws the rock at the window, and then he just sings a really out of key song trying to win them back. You need more than that, Phil.
It ain't working, Philly.
Yeah, a lot more than that.
It ain't working.
I don't know what it is, but you're gonna need more of it. Well, games, really. Actually,
games.
I know exactly how you need games.
E-games.
Specifically good games, and preferably exclusives, so that people have any reason to buy your shit. Would be ideal. Good luck. Just to tack a little footnote on the end of this, just to put a nice little fine point on how shitty of a week Microsoft is having. They also announced this week that Joseph Staten is properly leaving Microsoft altogether after being clawed back from 343 Industries, where Microsoft had originally sent him in the last calendar year or so, in an effort to save Halo Infinite. He tried. As it turns out, 343 is a little bit difficult to fucking drag through the war zone. No effort whatsoever. They're not actually all that injured. It's not like they took a shot in the toe. And you're out in the middle of the battlefield. There's a lot of fucking gunfire raining down on you, and you gotta go get your man. And so Joe Staten is out there. He's got the medic fucking gear on. He sees his man out in the field. It's a toe shot. You don't know that yet. You just know they're injured, screaming bloody murder. And it's a battlefield, so you just assume that he's got fucked up. So you run out there to the field, you pick them up. You got him in that military carry, that low under the arm, gotta drag him across the fucking battlefield. When you get there, you realize this man looks clean. He barely got any dirt on anything, which is shocking because there's mortar fire all over the place. But somehow, this man took a bullet in the fucking toe, that's it. And he's screaming, please help me! Ah! Ah! Help! And Joe's looking at him going, okay, sure, let's go. And see, he gets him by the arms. He starts pulling. It's hard because this bitch is heavy. Like, well, man, what the fuck you been eating, bro? We've been fucking war for 4 years. How the fuck you should be light. Fucking goddamn, bro. Get off the friggin' burgers. He's gonna, and at first Joe was sympathetic. You're like, oh God, okay, I gotta get him off the field. And then after a while, Joe goes, guy, it's only your fucking toe. Can you fucking get up and move a little bit? Can you help me a little bit? You're dead weight. It's not like half your torso's missing. I'm just trying to get, we're both gonna die out here. We're literally gonna both die. It's just a toe. And he goes, and Joe tried. And eventually, the fucking platoon leader pokes his head out for 3 seconds from the trenches and goes, Joe! Joe! Just leave the fucking asshole out there. Get back here. You're more important, please. Just don't, we can't lose you. Joe! And Joe's still got the fucking guy by the arms. He's like, fuck, but I'm a medic. I'm not supposed to leave him behind. Fuck, I can't leave him. He goes, no, fucking Joe! Leave him. He's not worth it. Come back, please. And after many months, finally, Joe's like, I'm sorry. And he ran back. And after getting there, as it turns out, that was very traumatizing for poor Joe. Immediate PTSD. Platoon leader sees that. She's like, oh, fuck. We shouldn't have sent him out there to begin with. Fuck, now he's useless. We can't use him anymore. Joe, go home. Have a purple star. Get the fuck out of here. And so now he's gone. Joe's gone. And with it,
Joe.
Pretty much any hope that Halo is ever going to fucking exist in any reasonable form for a very long time. Infinite's dead. We already knew that. But I thought I'd throw that out there anyway. He announced it. He announced it on Twitter. He said, thanks, it's out the classic. Thanks for the good times. Bye. Mr. Black, it seems like no matter what the hardware power, developers are bent on pushing everything to the max, resulting in this 30 FPS bullshit. Alright? Many games don't actually get a performance mode, ever. While I agree that games don't necessarily need 60 FPS, despite your amazing analogy saying that, you know, it is, and you're right, 2023, 60 FPS, get your shit together. It's not that the hardware can't do 60 FPS. It's just that they seem so bent on their game having to look so fucking good, which most people can't tell the fucking difference or care.
They don't care.
Between the two modes.
It still looks good.
I know the joke is just make good games, as you just said. Ironically, I had that in my notes. But do you think or what do you think, other than just make good games, of that, what does that mean? 3 points. What is, in 2023, in any game, so applicable to any game, what are the core things that a developer should or should not do to ensure that their game has a best shot at not being Redfall?
What they should do?
Yeah, like what are the 3 common things that any developer in 2023 should be considering to do or not do for their game to help ensure that it's not going to be doo-doo butter on the other side?
I mean, I don't know. Just make good quality games that people are interested in, and don't overpromise some fucking shit and rush your game. Take your time, make quality, put some care into it. It's like eating food at your grandmother's house. It just tastes different because it's made with love and passion, and they want to make the game, or this, in this case, for the food. If you're just going to go and splice together a really pretty looking 3 to 5 minute demo, and you're saying, hey, look at these graphics, look at the water, look at the sky, and look how this wall crumbles. I mean, yeah, that's great, but is the game good? Because if it ain't, I don't give a flying fuck about how your water looks and how this is a destructible building. All I care is if the game is playable. Because if I'm going to spend $100 on a game, I want to enjoy it. I don't want it to be too long. I don't want it to be too short. I want it to just be competent. Do that, and you give yourself the best chance. The problem is I find the vast majority of these developers are using fuckery to try and draw people in. And they're losing
Little smoke and mirror kind of a situation.
It's all smoke and mirrors. That's what it is, man. It's all smoke and mirrors. And I like me smoke and mirrors, but once you understand that it's an illusion and you know the trick, the fun of it goes away. If I go to a magic show, I just went to David Copperfield back in when did I go? In January. Went and saw David Copperfield. Listen, I know David Copperfield ain't doing real magic, okay? I know
but
this
it's damn
motherfucker
close.
I know this motherfucker ain't disappearing. I know when the lights go off, he's going in some hidden tunnel, and he's moving around, and they've got this thing orchestrated, and there's mirrors, and there's illusions and stuff. I get it. But here's the thing. I don't go into the show like an asshole going, this is fake. I know that that alien that you have up on the stage, because he actually brings out aliens and shit.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not real. It didn't come from a different planet. It's a puppet. It looks like Baby Yoda. Okay? I know it's not real. But here's the thing. I don't care. Because if your heart is in it, you're showing your passion. It's a quality show. I'm laughing. I'm having a good time. I'm thinking to myself, how did they do that? Job done. But the problem is, if I know the show off by heart, and I've seen it over and over and over again, and the person that's doing the show doesn't give a fuck, they're there because they have to, they don't want to be there, the magic is gone. Pardon the pun. It's just an idiot on stage with a fucking puppet, and it's dumb. Just get back to making good shit again. That's it. There's no secret formula. The problem is they're under pressure. It's the pressure. And they feel like they got to one-up everybody else and make things look incredible. And it got to wow people because of the... Dude, like, graphics-wise, I think 8-10 years ago was, like, a bigger thing.
When Crisis was a thing, it was pushing the sales of some games. But do you really think that graphics are selling games?
No, I don't. It might sell 10%, maybe. That's a maybe.
Dude, Vampire Survivor for like $2.99 or whatever the fuck that motherfucker been selling that shit for. Top down, 4 pixels. Game of the year for some people. Like,
nobody cares because it's fun. There's no smoke and mirrors. It is what it is. You make a good game, a fun game, a simple game, easy to get into. People are going to show up. People are going to buy it. But hey, I just don't get it. Good luck. Good luck. It doesn't appease me. I don't care about really any new games that come out these days because it all looks like it all looks the same. It all looks the same to me. Well,
especially since they're all using like one of 2 engines now. Like there's not as many companies using like a different or the proprietary engine. And there are some engines that you can look at and you just like that's the Unreal Engine. I know that because it looks like every other Unreal Engine game. And I understand why people use it because it's way more. I'm not asking them to make their own. I'm not asking them to build their own engine. But
I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like, dude, if you were to get the top 3 like single player action adventure games and you were to put them all beside each other, I mean, there's a good chance that you'd think that they were all in the same universe and they were all the same fucking, they're just in different areas of the game. I'm not joking. You get rid of the UI and you just have the picture of what's going on screen. It all looks the same. And listen, just make a good game. And then if you want to spice it up and make it look extra spiffy, great. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm
with you. I think listen, I think this for me, I appreciate when a game has enormous fidelity. But it is not a primary reason for me, and I don't really think for more than a very tiny selection of people, a primary driver for why anyone buys a game. Like you might buy one, like you just built yourself a $6 billion PC, and you're like, I need a game to just show off how fucking amazing this system is. Okay. But for most people, it's not the first thing. Is the game fucking fun? Does it last more than 5 minutes? And do I have to spend microtransactions every 5 seconds to continue to play this game and have it be fun? Those are like way more important than does it look absolutely incredible. And you know what? A lot of games people will say look beautiful, and they're not the ones that are super graphically beautiful. You know what the difference is? Art direction. Art direction carries everything. There are games that are fucking 25, 30 years old, even in the 3D realm. Well, wouldn't be 30 years old, but like they're like 25 years old in the 3D space, and they still look really fucking good because of the art direction. Not necessarily because they're graphically fucking incredible. It's just art direction. And so that is what I would hope, why I would prefer Microsoft, for example, to go to them and say, okay, all the games in this console on the Series X, by default, 60 FPS. 30, Series S. Yep. Sure. X, 60.
Yep.
And what I would hope would happen with that is that it would force these developers to do the opposite of what you're saying. It doesn't look like every other fucking game, because now they have to put more time into art direction to make up for the fact that they can't just turn all the knobs to fucking 14 to make their game look quote unquote really fucking good. But it's true. We've been stuck in this slump for a while. We have like, it ebbs and flows. Every now and then there'll be like a pocket where all the games come out. They're not these like insane Unreal tech demos, but the art direction is really fucking incredible. And then we get right back into this weird like crisis mode where everything has to be. And it's usually when a new engine comes out. So Unreal 5, as we've talked about in the podcast before, insane engine. Fucking bonkers. Gonna change the game. But for the next few years, almost every game built on it is gonna look really fucking similar.
It's gonna be a bunch of tech demos, man. That's what it is. They're gonna sell you $100 tech demo. That's what it is. Suck a dick.
Jim Ryan, Mr. Black. We all know who Mr. Jim Ryan is. It's the head over there at Sony PlayStation. He just can't seem to keep his mouth shut, like me. It's a real problem. Haven't figured it out yet. Maybe he will, and let me know. But Jim Ryan just can't keep that mouth shut. While PlayStation console sales are up, as I mentioned earlier, almost 300% in the recent period compared to Nintendo and Xbox being significantly down instead. And while selling record numbers of games, as we mentioned, I believe, in another podcast, March was the biggest game sale fucking whatever for Sony, like all time. Beating PS2, the whole 9 yards. And so all that's outside of Call of Duty. Jim said this week that their business would never recover. So like some Tiger King shit. I will never financially recover from this. If Microsoft released a degraded version of Call of Duty on their console. Which I would assume he means Xbox and the PC versions getting extra added content that the PS5 wouldn't, timed or otherwise, which is super fucking ironic because that is what he has been doing with Call of Duty and PlayStation for fucking years now. PlayStation has been the one getting the added additional content either exclusively or timed ahead of every other platform. And so for him to come out, we will never financially recover while they are number one in every metric, setting records everywhere. Couldn't possibly imagine us surviving if we just don't have this Call of Duty experience be par for the course across the board. It's just some absolutely insane bullshit. And does it even need to be said at this point? Because the deal is basically done. So I feel like Jim opening his mouth anymore now is not doing him
no
any favors.
No.
Whatsoever. And so yeah, I just thought I'd add that in there because he just can't seem to fucking stop talking. And do you really think
he's just salty, bro? That's all.
Oh, he's super salty.
Let him be salty. Let him be salty. Xbox is just shooting them. Microsoft's shooting themselves in the foot anyway. So he just needs to shut up and just keep going.
I mean, really, look at what Xbox is doing right now. You would almost want them to spend $72 billion on something to fuck it all up, right?
Go have fun. Yeah. Go have fun.
He should just be watching the show, and really take all the success he's currently got going right now and all this money coming in, and just develop a Call of Duty competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And like we mentioned before on the podcast, we're not saying go sell a fucking first-person shooter that puts out 40 million copies in a release. But if it's your first-party game that's exclusive to the PlayStation 5, and you sell
7 million, 10 million,
7, 10, 15, woo!
There you go. That's a dub. And it's yours.
Huge dub. And it's internal to the team. So just go do that, Jim. Stop flapping your gums. Jim.
It's all right.
We know you're salty. So it's okay. You'll live. It'll be okay. And finally, for game news this week, complete meme news. Monster Energy, Mr. Black. You've had a few of those in your day.
I have.
Monster Monster Energy is going after Capcom and Pokemon Company over the use of the word monster. They've been known to do this before, but going after Pokemon is a bold move, in my opinion, for obvious reasons. So they're going after them in Japan, because this is Capcom and Pokemon, so Japanese companies. And Pokemon, of course, is Pocket Monster in Japan. Are they really choosing to move fucking dining room furniture upstairs right now? Couldn't have waited. I should have just put the chairs in last night, Mr. Black. Sorry.
All good. We'll survive.
So Pocket Monster, and then of course for Capcom it would be Monster Hunter. Would be the likely culprits for what they're going after. This might be some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I could see maybe having the nuts to go after Capcom. Okay. Sacking up to go after Pokemon Company over the use of the word monster, which they were doing at scale so long before Monster
you existed.
Ever started causing the hair to fall off a teenage boy's nutsacks everywhere for caffeine overdoses. Long before. That doesn't actually happen, by the way. That was a joke. Don't come after me next. But that's long before. You can't go after You can't go after come on. Not only that, I'm struggling to imagine Monster, who has done this traditionally in many other locations with many other companies as well. This is not their first rodeo. But I'm struggling to imagine walking in to a courtroom or hand this to a judge, this case to a judge, to see if it will even make it. And the judge looks down and it says that it's them trying to basically defend that they have the trademark over the word monster. And trying to imagine any singular judge anywhere in the world that would go, yeah, that's sensible. Of course not. Are you crazy? It's the word monster. You can't just trademark the word monster. That shit ain't gonna happen. And it would definitely not happen for Monster Energy. No shot. No. Let alone doing this in Japan to two Japanese companies. Do they really think the court system in Japan is gonna be like, oh shit, you know what? You're totally fucking right.
Oh, bro, they're gonna grab a fucking samurai sword and fucking cut Monster Energy drink right out of their damn country. What's gonna happen? They'll fucking ban Monster Energy drinks from even being allowed in their fucking country.
They don't need you, Monster.
They don't need you, and they don't want you.
No. You know what they do need? Pokemon. That's a national fucking need. That is a federally provided service. Pokemon. Yeah, crazy shit. But yeah, I guess good luck. You know what I have here in my last notes here, though? I got to give all the props in the world to the legal department at Monster, who is clearly convinced the C-levels that any of this is even remotely fucking valuable to them and their time. They're getting paid a lot of money to go and send this shit around everywhere, and it's never going to fucking happen. No. But they're secured. They secured the bag for themselves. They've convinced them that this is totally worth their time. You know what they're probably like? Oh, it's a write-off. It's a legal write-off. We'll just go around. We'll see if we can set a legal precedent. And the Monster's like, yeah, okay, yeah, go for it. Good luck. Shout out to 6'4" BT Dubs for the 5 sheet in the super chat. Much love from Seattle. Hey. Seattle Supersonics, one of the greatest basketball teams of all time, and jerseys. Bring them back. That's what we need. We need expansion back to the Seattle Supersonics. That's what we need.
They have a very expensive real estate market there in Seattle.
How did I know that was going to be the thing that came out of your mouth? What's the fucking real estate market in Seattle? It's true. It is expensive. And you know why? Because everyone that buys property there is buying it with the hopes and dreams of watching the Seattle Supersonics coming out to the NBA. That's what they're.
There you go.
That's why it's so expensive. But that's it for now, which means it's time to sell out. Mr. Black, what do you got for us?
It's patreon.com/legtv. Hey, man, this shit is kicking off now. You guys are coming through. You start to throw money at the screen. Y'all have been excited about the StarCraft cast. If you guys want to support the podcast, the StarCraft, and the future content that's going to be coming, head on over there to patreon.com/legtv. We got the dollar menu up there now. You can do $1, you can do $5. For $5 now, you can ask us questions that will be answered here on the podcast and in our StarCraft cast. So head on over there. And if you want to support, go a little bit further, or you don't want to throw money at Patreon and you want to support yourself, you can get NordVPN. NordVPN.com/OTT. Link is in the description below. Head on over there, get yourself a 2-year subscription, and use the promo code OTT. It's that simple. Get yourself a massive discount. We're talking 70-something% off. I don't know exactly what it is right now. You know, I'm going to click on the site and I'm going to go over there and find out as I give you the right information. Let's see here. Get a deal. I click on that bad boy. Buy now. I'm buying right now. And it looks like when the OTT promo code is in, it goes from, it's 61% off. All right, I kind of lied. It's 61% off. A
Rounding
2-year
error.
subscription, but you get 4 extra bonus months on top. So you are looking at less than a half the price of a grande cinnamon dolce latte at Starbucks. Few dollars a month. You can stay safe. You can stay anonymous when you're on the internet. You can watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services at the click of a button. No program needed. No coding, nothing. I use my Nord every single, not every single day, but 5 days a week. I'm using NordVPN. It always works. I actually streamed my stream the other day for 6 hours on a Brazilian connection. All right. And it was flawless. No frame drops, no stream drops, no nothing.
Can I ask in the middle of this promotion?
No, you don't get to ask. You don't get to ask because that's privacy. That's my that's what I want. It's none of your business what I'm doing with my internet activities, Adam. So you don't get to ask. And hey, if you guys don't want your ISP asking what's going on, and you want to be doing some downloading and some other stuff, head on over to NordVPN.com/OTT. And they've got it's not really new anymore, but they got a desktop app that you can run a thing called threat protection in the background of your PC without even being on a server, which protects you from malicious pop-ups, malware. It will detect the malware and remove it from your PC. It all comes packed in. Plus, they have all kinds of other shit on their site, like password protection. So you want to get a password, what do they call those things? Manager? You can do that. They got all kinds of stuff. They got dedicated IPs.
What else?
I'm just going through a list of stuff in here.
What else they got, Jeff?
You know what else they got, Adam?
What's
they
that?
got a 30-day money-back guarantee, which means if you don't like this service for whatever reason, within 30 days, you get your money back, no questions asked. None. So head on over there and get yourself a VPN, a virtual private network. It's 2023, folks. This ain't 2004. They've been in the game for 11 years. Respect the grind. Respect the hustle. Just like Lag TV, we've been here for 11 years. It's meant to be. You got to respect it. You got to head on over to Patreon and respect it via your wallet. And if you don't, that's okay, cheap-ass motherfucker. You can hit the like button on this damn video. and you can leave a comment and do your part. And I love you. That's it.
And now it's time for
movies and TV.
Super Mario Bros, Mr. Black. As it turns out, Mario is pretty good at making money in the theater.
Yes.
Which, you know, given the track record in the past, you know, it's not shocking now, but if somebody said, I don't know, 12 years ago that if they did another Mario movie, it was going to do real well, people would probably still look back to the one from the 90s and go, you know what? Probably not. But that's not what happened here. Mario is cleaning house right now, internationally and otherwise. In fact, it set a record at the box office in its first 5 days, quickly becoming the highest grossing animated film during that opening, besting Frozen 2. To put that into perspective, let it fucking go. $377.2 million internationally. In 5 fucking days.
This could hit the $1 billion.
If it doesn't, that would be fucking weird. I think that's hitting a bill. I think Mario's hitting a bill. This also makes it, unsurprisingly, the top video game adaptation of all time, regardless of the amount of time in theater. As we talked about last week, Sonic's last run to the theater in total, I believe, was about 300 and something mil. Mario's there in 5 days. Sorry, Sonic.
Did you see what Jack Black said?
He said a few things. So which one?
The Red Dead.
The Red Dead one?
He wants Red Dead Redemption.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, as an adaptation. I mean, fucking why not?
And not animated. He wants it to be a show like The Last of Us.
Jack Black's mentioned like 4 movies in the last 5 days that he wants to do. I don't know if you noticed this. That's why I had to ask which one.
Yeah.
Did he say he would want to be in it or just wants to see it happen? Oh, okay.
I think it was a little bit of both. I think he likes the games a lot.
Jack Black is somebody that if you tell me Jack Black is in the film, I'm going to say, okay.
Sure.
Any serious film, comedy film, sci-fi, fucking film noir, porn, I don't care. It's Jack Black.
Porn, I don't know, man. I don't think I need to see Jack Black, you know.
Did you see that fucking
Jack Blacks?
Did you see the fucking toy saxophone clip from Conan O'Brien back in the day?
I did.
Imagine but naked.
Okay, Adam, I can do you one better.
Okay.
I saw Jack Black live in Las Vegas.
Well,
and he brought out the same sax.
Oh, right. He did.
He fucking went ham on that shit, bro. And yes, I was salty with the flu and whatever other sickness
It's a fever dream.
But hey, it was still a damn good time. I love.
So you tell me it wouldn't have been even better naked?
I mean, I like me some Jack Black, but I don't know how much I like of Jack Black, but sure.
One way or the other. The saxoboom is legendary. That clip might be one of the top 5 late night television clips of all team, of all time, of all team, or all team.
All team too.
Yep.
You're all right.
But yeah, doing real well, crushing it, and begs the question: how much does that Mario movie make by the end of its theatrical run? We got some Miss Cleo, Mr. Black. What do we got?
I'm gonna go 1.1 bill.
I'm going 1.3.
Jesus. Okay.
I'm going 1.3, and I'm banking on 1.3 because it is a very much kids movie, broad appeal. So old farts like us that are big fans of Mario will also see it. This movie, I think, is going to do well because it's going to have a lot of repeated viewings. Because if there's one thing that kids love, it's watching the same movie fucking 700,000 times. And it could be the same day, be the same week. It don't fucking matter. They could wake up from a nap and be like, let's watch that movie again. You're like, fuck. Okay. It's that or the iPad. We're going to the theater.
For the low price of $500, it might be the iPad.
That's also fair. But I think there's a chance it goes to 1.3.
All right.
It's just like it's got so much fucking like talk and chatter online, and 5 days for 377.
It's a lot.
Whew. It's a lot of money. We'll see how it holds up. Is there anything that's coming up that would supplant it in any way, shape, or form in the next like month?
Yeah, there's what is coming out? I'd have to take a look here. There's a couple of movies. One sec. Movies releasing soon. All right, let me see here. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the one. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3, there's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There's a new Hunger Games coming out.
And all of this within the next month?
No, Guardians is coming. And so is Spider-Man, I do believe. Let me see. Guardians is coming out. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, IMDb. I don't know when the release date. It's not showing it here on the site. I'm like 99% sure that shit is coming out like soon. Like this, like it might even be May 5th. So next month.
Okay.
So May 5th, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is coming out. Somebody in chat can let us know.
It's got to be a week past at least.
Oh no, that's June 2nd. So
yeah.
There's still quite a bit. Okay, so yeah, it's really just Guardians. That's gonna be a big movie though.
That is gonna be a big movie. That's true.
Yeah.
They'll take some of the stings. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, outside of that, then yeah, I think they pretty much have some smooth sailing. Next month is Little Mermaid as well. That's towards the end of May. Yeah, there are some movies coming out, man. It's the summer season. Next month, Fast X is coming out. Fast 10.
Family.
Indiana Jones is coming out as well. That's in June.
Necromancy.
The new Flash, that's in June. Yeah, okay. So it's really just a couple of movies. You might be right, man. It might get close to there.
There's a chance. I don't think it's a great chance. I'd say there's 1.1, like you were saying. I think there's like a 80% chance it hits 1.1. I think there's a 50% chance it hits 1.3. But I'm flipping the coin. I'm calling heads. I'm going 1.3 on the Mario movie. We'll find out. Won't take too long. A new Resident Evil animated movie is coming, Mr. Black, called Death Island, which follows both Chris Redfield in one location and Leon Kennedy in another. And is I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this bad boy. It came out here in the last day, I believe. But it's going full camp. They're not doing this serious. This is full camp Resident Evil, and because of that, it looks like it might actually be pretty good. Looks like it'll be a good time. It is also full animated. It is not a mixture or any bullshit. It's not them trying to take the series like super seriously. And so I think for that reason, I think it might actually have a chance of being pretty good, or at least an entertaining watch one way or another. Especially since it seems like it's targeting very specifically only fans of the franchise and fucking nobody else. Which I got to be honest, I don't think any of the Resident Evil movies or even the series most recently has really been for fans. It's like they've been trying to find a way to get Resident Evil to have more mass appeal instead of just looking at it and going, it's already a fucking zombie action thing. That just, you don't need, that is mass appeal. It's fucking zombies. You don't need to add more to that. Just fucking make the godforsaken, true to, the game type shit. For fuck's sakes. Maybe that will happen. That's a follow-up question to me, Mr. Black. Do you think Resident Evil will ever manage to have a really good, serious adaptation on either screen?
No.
Small or big?
No.
Not even with all the success other games? Like, you don't think it will ever get pulled to get aside to be made serious in any way, shape, or form?
No, I think it's just failed too many times.
That was my thoughts as well.
And the thing is like, it actually did have a mark for a while when What's-Her-Face was like leading the helm with those movies, and then they just became too...
Oh, the husband was the director and he just put her in the role like for like 5 straight movies or whatever it was?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they were fine for what they were, but and they had some marginal success, but it just doesn't... It seems like whenever they give the property to somebody, they're not giving it to like respected, like really distinguished directors, and they're just putting like B-list and C-list, D-list actors and actresses in these things, and the budgets are small, and the zombie genre has been done so much, and it's been done very well by several different movies and TV shows. And I just don't think when they're greenlighting these things that they have the budgets to compete with the stuff that we've seen in the past. And there's so much zombie shit that it's hard not to compare. I mean, even if you look at things like The Last of Us, which technically aren't zombies, but they're zombie-like, same thing. It's like you're gonna get compared to all of these shows and games and movies and everything else, and they're just dropping the ball. It's just half-ass stuff. And I'm sure they go into it with the best of intentions. It's just it ain't working, and I don't think it's ever gonna work. I think it needs to just be a video game, or they can just keep making mediocre Resident Evil content that maybe some people are enjoying, but I'm not.
Yeah, like that's what bothered me. That was my take too, is that even with all the success of video game adaptations we've been getting lately, and on paper, Resident Evil is like a shoe-in. I think that for the same reasons you were mentioning, outside of just the saturation point for zombies, which may or may not be hit in current media, it's just the fact that Resident Evil is kind of tainted by all of the shit that came before. And none of it really hit a home run, and it's been done to death. And so it's probably something that, you know, in combination with the saturation of the whole zombie thing, et cetera, people that would be greenlighting this shit are looking at it going, yeah, no, I don't think so. We've got lots of other options on the table for video games that we could do. And Resident Evil tried and failed many times to do anything major. Maybe if one of those movies really hit it off, maybe they'd think about doing a series or something again, but they just did the series and it had some pretty good. I mean, Lance Reddick was in there as Wesker, and that show was bad, real fucking bad. In fact,
I mean,
Lance
Resident Evil as a whole, I just think this might be what's the word I'm looking for here? This might be a hot take, but I'm a big Resident Evil fan, and I'm in the middle of playing the Resident Evil 4 remake now. I'm going to play it again tomorrow, put some more hours into it. But I really don't think... I think right now what TV is looking for is they're looking for serious...
Drama.
And if you can add in some elements of fantasy or sci-fi or horror or whatever... fantastic, but I just think Resident Evil is a bit campy. It's a bit, it's a bit cartoony. And I don't mean as in like it's a cartoon, but like just the way the Umbrella is, and the soldiers and the guns and the over the top kind of military type stuff, and it's. I don't think it works well for where TV is now. And I think The Walking Dead was the closest thing to like a Resident Evil that you could get without the Umbrella and all this other stuff. And we've did that for fucking a bajillion seasons and over the last like fucking 2 decades. And people are just, over that, even though there's spin-offs and all this other shit. I feel like if Resident Evil was to be a big show, it would have been like The Walking Dead, maybe just a little bit darker, a little bit more serious. But outside of that, I just don't see it work. I just don't see it working. I just don't.
Peacocks, which just saying that already tells you that there's a chance it's not going to be good. Peacocks the Continental got its teaser trailer. Mr. Black, do you see the teaser trailer?
I did. It looked pretty bad. I'm not going to lie to you.
I didn't like, for me, all I could get out of it was that, you could see that they were trying to give it the look, right?
Yeah.
The character designs and stuff, they were trying to go for the look. And I think from what I saw, it, for a show, successful enough in that regard, but there was nothing, it was just a bunch of jump cuts to different things, and you couldn't really piece anything together. So it doesn't show enough for me to really be able to be like, oh, I think it's going to be great or bad. What I do think, my only take thus far, having, which was this already, more than likely, but somebody can tell me if I'm fucking flip-flopping, is that I think this is either going to be really fucking good or really fucking bad. I don't think there's any room in the middle for this thing. They're either going to be able to lock this in, and it's going to make sense, and it's going to extend the John Wick universe in a way that is entertaining and meaningful for people that watch the films, or it's going to just be a really shitty knockoff that they try to turn into a series and cash in on the John Wick fucking franchise name.
Yeah, yeah. And then they got the ballerina that's coming out next year or something. I got a harsh prediction. I think this is. I think this is going to be a letdown. I do.
Which one do you think is going to do better, this or Ballerina?
This. I think Continental is going to do better. At least with the Continental, it's in the name. You know what it is. Ballerina, it's female-driven. Not saying that's a problem, but we have seen...
Demographic is harder to push for, I think, John Wick.
Demographically, it's tough. And let's be real, the demographic for John Wick are primarily dudes.
Yes.
And I'm not saying dudes don't like badass, kick-ass females. I sure shit do.
They just haven't really been able to do it well enough thus far.
Resonating
and they've
with
tried.
The audience. They've tried many times, many times. And
like Atomic Blonde and fucking like there was like a 2-year period where we got like 2 or 3 almost identical plot point movies that were, how many times could we get Charlize Theron to try and be John Wick?
Yeah.
On screen. And they weren't bad. They just weren't something that's going to carry.
Yeah. People don't identify. Listen, man, it's hard to envision a 120-pound or 130-pound woman beating the shit out of 6'2", 220-pound dudes. There's just something about it that, like, after a while, you're like, nah.
Even in the realm of something where you're suspending your disbelief, it starts to look a little...
Dude, some of the most badass UFC female fighters on the planet would get their ass whooped by
a Division I high school dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get fucked up. They just get fucked up. And they know how to handle their fucking business. Now, I'm sure that they could beat up a lot of people.
They beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Like if you were to take, say, Amanda Nunes, which, you know, weighs 135, 145 pounds.
She'd fold me like a lawn chair.
Oh, yeah. She'd fuck us up because, she'd fuck us up. But, you know, if you were to put her in the 135-pound male division.
It'd be bad time.
She ain't going to be in the top 10. Just straight up. It's unlikely. I mean, maybe she beats a couple of dudes. Maybe she can in terms of submitting and stuff, like she might. But if you're talking about just standing up and striking, which is typically what you're seeing in these movies, like hand to hand, it's probably not going to go well. So you know you can suspend disbelief so far, but you know seeing a woman going and beat up endless amounts of dudes, big trained assassins, I don't know how they're going to pull it off. Now with a gun, absolutely. I mean, a girl could, a woman. Body
size does not help stopping a bullet.
It don't matter. So she could, you know, if the ballerina is if she's getting her ass kicked a little bit more in hand to hand, but she's handling her shit with the gung fu, totally buying it. I'm totally buying it.
Or a knife or like some weapon to level the playing field, right?
Something, but if she moves around like John Wick and it's all dudes, I mean, I don't know, man. It just will feel weird. It just, I don't know.
My only thing that makes me hopeful, now, the name of the show does make me believe that they are going in that direction, where she is going to be like hand to hand a lot. It gives you the sense of that, calling something the ballerina, but who fucking knows, I guess. But it does give me the sense of that. But the thing that gives me a little bit of hope is in John Wick 4. You know, the character there, you know, the Tokyo Continental's daughter. Can't think of her character's name right now off the top of my head.
She's like a fucking pop star or something. In real life, she's like a K-pop star or some shit.
Well, she fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
But they didn't try to do that with her. So that's my only hope. Like with her, she was fighting dudes and she was getting her ass kicked and she had to do some crazy shit to make up for it, to like get out of there in one piece. And it was very believable, and it was very like not to spoil it, but how, like, you know which scene I'm talking about, up the stairs, that last bit, that was brutal as fuck, and it made sense for the size difference, and it worked, and that shit was crazy. And now,
Yeah.
if it's that, you give me that?
Oh, I'm in. I'm in. Give me the ladies. Give me the ballerina. Do your thing. But don't make her John Wick fighting fucking 50,000 dudes wave after wave after wave, and she's fine. Because I'm sorry. It's just, I can't. I'll only be able to believe it when you're sprinkle it in there. You know what I mean? Sprinkle it in there a little bit. The odd time. Like, okay, hell yeah, she's badass. But we'll see.
We'll see.
But I predict that these shows are going to be a bit of a letdown, and they're just going to go and make another John Wick movie. But who knows? Maybe this Continental show is going to be fucking incredible.
I think they're going to make another John Wick movie regardless of how well this thing does. But yes, I do agree. It would certainly spur them on, I think, if it didn't do all that well. Last up, Mr. Black, to end with meme news, much like with the game news, HBO Max will officially be changed to just Max pretty soon. And I still can't believe how insanely dumb that is. I can't wrap my brain. Imagine, much like Monster, because you know this is what's going to happen eventually. When you name yourself something so fucking generic as Max, what the fuck does Max mean, and does anyone associate Max with anything that you're doing? The answer is no. It's a rhetorical question. HBO is synonymous with high quality TV and movie content, and has been for almost as long as I have been breathing and losing hair. That is where all of the fucking brand value is built up, in the letters HBO, which are not a generic fucking term. Yeah, it's an acronym, but you know what? It doesn't matter because they've seen it forever. So if you're going to try and make Max synonymous in the way that HBO has been, you're gonna bank on like 30 fucking years worth of shit to make people actually.
I think people are still just gonna call it HBO Max. You know, because there's still HBO, but there's not HBO Max. They're just calling it Max.
I think it's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So just call it HBO. Drop the Max. Why does it have to be Max?
It's more. It's more.
I know it's more, but like
I just cancel. I mean, it's better than HBO Plus. I'm fucking over pluses and fucking, you know.
Now we're to the Maxes.
Now we're in the Max. You know, what about HBO Super or something? I don't know.
Yeah, but, you're about to. Yeah, I was gonna say you're about to get sued now.
Yeah, maybe. Who gives a shit?
Coming after anyone using the word Max.
I canceled my HBO Max like a month ago because I was like, I am paying $20 a month every month for something I never watch outside of Game of Thrones. So when Game of Thrones comes out, which they started production on House of the Dragon season 2. Which was some movie news. By the way, HBO, or I should say now Max, just ordered that Harry Potter. Series.
Yes, they did, and they had a fucking poster thingy looking thing for it too.
Yep. So that is officially happening. So we will see. And outside of that, there isn't been any other big movie and stuff.
Not only that, but tack onto that, they did mention that it is, in fact, as we were trying to discern last week, that is a 10-year commitment. So it's all 7, each series or each season, 1 book.
All right.
10-year commitment.
Hard to believe it's not going to do well just because it's Harry Potter. But just make the show good, please.
Whew. It's going to be a lot of money. I can't wait to see the budget.
I'll watch that. I'm actually going to watch it.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
100% going to watch it. Especially if they come out and they're like, all right, each season, $500 million. Go have fun. I'm in! Just to see how they spend the fucking money. And that's it for now, which means it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV is the place to go if you want to financially support this podcast. You can see it here on the screen, and you heard it with my voice. $5 or more each and every month gets us a couple of perks, or gets you a couple of perks. Well, us too. The ability to buy things, although not a lot at any given time. But you do get to ask us questions on a post that I put up on Patreon before the podcast each and every week called Tech Support, where we answer some of them here and now, some of them on the fly in the StarCraft content. Patreon also a good place, as Jeff has mentioned before, to just help the StarCraft content continue because it helps monetize something that otherwise doesn't monetize well. Patreon.com/LagTV. All right, let's see what we got this week for some questions. A Dent asks, you're driving down a road. It's the first warm spring day of the year. There's no traffic in front of you. Clear, sunny, blue skies above you. Windows are down. What song are you playing?
I am playing.
If you pick the same songs as me, I'm going to be so fucking, I'm going to shit myself right here.
Well, I was immediately going to go with Miley Cyrus, but I'm not going to do it.
Okay, that's definitely not what I was going to say.
Yeah, because I was going to say A Party in the USA, because it just feels like a...
God, I hate that song so much.
I fucking hate it too. I gotta go with something. I gotta go with Backstreet Boys. I got Backstreet Boys.
Okay, but which one?
And it's gonna be... Oh, man, what's my go-to Backstreet Boys song? I mean, there's so many. During the summer. Larger Than Life.
Fuck, it's the same one!
No shot!
It's the same one!
No way!
I was torn before you mentioned Backstreet Boys at all. I was torn between Larger Than Life and Backstreet's Back.
I was going to say Backstreet's Back, but then I went with Larger Than Life instead, man. I got to go with Backstreet Boys. I have to. It's the only CD in my car, too. It's the only one. And it's Millennium. So, you know.
There you
have
go.
to.
There you go. Let me see here. Logan asks, what martial art would you like to instantly master and why? You're jacking into the Matrix, Mr. Black. You know you're going to have to go get your ass kicked by Morpheus in the not-too-distant future. What are you mastering instantaneously?
Like combat-wise? I'm probably mastering... So what, okay, ask me the question again. What are the parameters?
The parameters are, what martial art would you like to instantly master and why?
Okay. I'm going to go with boxing. Simply because it is something that can be used in an everyday life situation. I was going to say jujitsu, but if you're in a bar fight and whatnot, you're not really going to put somebody down and choke somebody out because they're going to have friends and you're going to get You're going to get your shit kicked in.
You don't want to go to the floor in a bar fight or a street fight. Yeah.
No, you want to be able to use your hands and get the fuck out. That's pretty much it. Hit and dip. That's it. So, you know, from a practical standpoint, I'm going to go with mastering the art of throwing the hands. The boxing, the sweet science.
As soon as you said boxing, for whatever reason, the first thing that came to my mind was Me, Myself, and Irene, where he's doing the slow mo, and then he just gets knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. I love that movie. Such a good movie.
While I totally agree that that's the case, where you just want to use, in a street fight, you never want to go to the ground because you never know, unless you are fucking positive they are alone, which is rare. But unless you are positive, you just do not want to ever go to the floor. So that is true. If I was doing that, with that in mind, I'm choosing kickboxing because I want to be able to use my legs because they're longer than arms, and if you have the ability to use legs, you get even more distance out of it.
But kickboxing and boxing are different.
They are different. They are different.
They are definitely different.
Like the hand use is very different, but the foot like in a street fight to keep distance.
Yeah,
and fuck somebody up,
nice.
A straight kick, which very few people even see coming, even in fucking mixed martial arts, people rarely see. I mean, how many people did Anderson Silva knock the fuck out with a straight kick? Because you just don't see it.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna change that. I'm not gonna go from boxing.
Okay. I was gonna say wrestling was my other one.
I'm gonna go Muay Thai.
Okay. That was a good one. Get him in the clinch and fucking knee him in the balls.
You can get him a nice elbow, fucking cut some shit up.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta get really good at grappling, being nice and close. I'll go Muay Thai.
And if I was picking a second thing, so I would, if I had two things I was gonna pick in general for street fighting, one is something on feet, so either boxing or kickboxing, depending, and then wrestling. Because usually the follow-up to, you know, you don't want to go to the ground. Sometimes a street fight, you don't have a choice, you're going to the ground. And if you've ever watched enough street fight videos that aren't like, you know, the fucking, you know, the back door or the backyard friggin' shit where it's just boxing, they're just bare knuckle boxing. An actual honest to God street fight, the grappler wins every time. Somebody gets in, absorbs a punch, picks them up, and slams you headfirst into the ground, and you're out.
Over. Well,
and
or
the
you're
game
dead.
Or you're dead.
Or paralyzed.
So that would be my two choices would be those for sure. Let's see. We actually have 10 here today, so I'll see what else we got. I didn't get a chance to read these before, so we'll have to just choose some random ones for the StarCraft. Let's see. All right, we'll do this one. All right, I'll do two because this one won't even make sense for StarCraft, and I can answer it quick. But I'll do this one first. The Blainer asks, which car dealer would you recommend and which one would you avoid for me? And I think by car dealer, he's judging by his example, he actually just means brand. I would avoid Ford since my last experience with my Focus was so incredibly bad. So car brands is different than dealer. Dealers are completely fucking whatever.
Because I'm gonna go. Listen, if you're gonna buy, I'm just gonna say get a Honda or a Toyota.
Yeah,
safe.
Save yourself a lot of pain and suffering. Just
it's you can fucking run them cars in the ground. Literally in some case you can turn the damn fucking the mileage over. Literally turn it over. All right, you're gonna get decades, like 20 plus years of with minimal maintenance if you take care of the vehicle, of course. If you're just gonna fucking beat it to shit, it's gonna be a
doesn't matter what vehicle you drive at that point.
It don't matter. So that, and I would say stay away from I would stay away from I mean, the first ones that came to mind is Audi, BMW, I would stay away from them. They're expensive.
Worst to repair because only some people have the tools that are specific to the fucking nuts that they put in those things to actually do the repair.
Yeah, and the repairs are very expensive. Parts are expensive. Listen, if you've got disposable income and you want to drive a Beamer or you want to drive an Audi, go for it. But like, if you're trying to find a vehicle that's not going to like literally murk you, like in the wallet, then I would stay away from those. I would stay away from those brands.
Yeah,
I don't have anything against Ford. Like, I think Ford is fine. I know there's a meme. It's like fix or repair daily. That's what it stands for. But I've owned Fords. I've taken care of Fords. My mom has been driving a Ford for like the last 30 years. Yeah, they have their problems like most cars, but I don't think it's as bad. It's all about how you take care of your cars. But Honda, Toyota, you're going to drive them things forever and a day.
Yeah. As a Toyota owner and from a Toyota family, the answer is yes. Like, Toyota's worst vehicle is better than many dealers or many brands' best. Yeah. So, like, they're boring. So, like, if you're the person that's like, I need my identity is tied to how sexy my fucking $35,000 car is, then it's maybe not for you. Although, I guess they got like the fucking
They got some nice.
The BRZ variant that they shared with Subaru. But either way, that and otherwise, like, as soon as you go luxury, except for Lexus, because it's basically just Toyota and it's all the same parts, so it's still not going to be an expensive fucking fix. Except for them, they're all expensive to fix. Honestly, you know what the best thing that most car people can do if you don't just know ahead of time, and even if you're spending, like, let's say $60, $70, $80, $90,000 on a car, if you have disposable income, you still want to have some value. You don't want to spend $90,000 only to spend another $20,000 over the next couple fucking years. Consumer Reports. Just buy the fucking subscription for whatever year that you're buying a car. Open that bitch up and see what tens of thousands of people that have bought all the cars you're looking at, including Consumer Reports reviews themselves, have been able to say about every nook and cranny of that motherfucker, and use that as a baseline. And you'll quickly discover what to go after. Last one is just a quick one here, and then we're going to head off to cast some StarCraft. Lots of people get excited about that. Mark is asking, some podcasts ago, Adam mentioned that if you wouldn't be a streamer, you might be a teacher. Now that you're looking for a non-streaming job, any chance you'll start educating Canada's youth? No. There's exactly zero chance.
If you want a shitty paying job, just continue doing this.
Zero. No, I'm more actually looking to, in the next 12 to 18 months, become a software engineer. Not a teacher. And the reasoning for that is a couple of reasons. One, I'd have to go back to school to become a teacher and spend even more money. Two, I have family in the system right now that just got in and finally have a full-time position. The system is fucking horrible right now. Schooling, being a teacher right now is a fucking minefield. Don't look at the student a certain way. Don't talk to him a certain way. Only teach them certain things, and if not, the whole fucking world and your career comes to a fucking end. It is an absolute minefield of fuck. And as I would have said a couple of a couple casts ago, a potluck of fuck no, I believe is what I said. That's how I view becoming a teacher right now. It is so hard to be a good teacher right now and not fall into some pitfall of the system. It's not being run by teachers anymore. It's being run by unelected, random fucking parents on the school boards that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Zero clue. And they're fucking the whole thing up bad. So no, I would like to avoid that as much as humanly possible. I don't have that kind of patience anymore. If I was 20 years old, my patience were actually, like, ironically, a lot better. Maybe I would have done it. But now, I'd be fired in the first 6 months. 100%. Without question. I would spend all that time and money and training to get fired in the first 6 months. No questions asked. So, hard pass on that. And Godspeed to any teachers that are in the system right now trying to be a good teacher. Woof. Good luck. And that's it. We're going to try and save the rest of these to try and, like, intersperse. I'll try and find some good ones to get in during the casts. That's all we got for this week, Mr. Black. That was a pretty good run. We're going to hopefully see that when I go to attempt to end this stream on YouTube, that it actually goes to plan. We're going to see if that happens. I'm going to press the end screen here. I'm going to go over here to the YouTube studio page where there is an end stream button. And when I click it, by God, it better fucking work. But we got the outro music to play first. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for stopping by. Patreon.com/LagTV is the place to go. Go and do it. And until we see you next week, have a phenomenal weekend. Stay safe. And peace!
Peace.